Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. As you can see here, guys, we are on a brand new account. That is right, we started on server, I believe, 1093. So overall, there was a guide that came out from in season and I believe Firefly that was talking about the wish list, how you should build the wish list, some changes to the wish list. And a lot of players that are newer to AFK Arena seem to have a very significant advantage, which again, this has kind of started some of the conversation over on Discord. We've seen some on Reddit, a couple different places with newer players coming to AFK Arena. Is it really much easier to get through this game? Is it really fair for players, essentially veteran players for this game? Because it is a little bit more difficult. Now, one of the big caveats or the things that I see when we're talking or having a conversation about that debate is when you look at AFK Arena as it is today, and again, looking at the wish list that we've seen from in season, you can only focus on newer heroes and you can only focus on really the priority heroes within AFK Arena. Plus, you have the ability to get an incredible amount of Stargazer scrolls and an incredible amount of those time emblems out of the faction towers, where now I've hit a point of the YouTube account where we've actually capped a majority of the faction towers, which means when a new hero comes out, I'm not going to have the ability to actually make that progression in there anymore, because I already have those heroes and I used all of those resources to build heroes that are pretty much not used anymore in AFK Arena, which again was kind of the reason why I wanted to hop in here. Let's go ahead and skip to 2-4. We're going to set up the wish list. We're going to do a couple summons, and I'm going to build this according to, again, the wish list that we have over from In Season and Firefly. I want to build it out exactly how they have it built. So we can do in here, we can do, let me pull it up. We'll clear all of these heroes out because this is not the priority that, again, that they put in here is not the priority that we're going to be joining or we're going to be building out these heroes. So let's hop over, guys, and I'm gonna check this out. Yeah, French Cores, it is a late live stream, guys. We had my son's birthday party. I also had a memorial for my uncle. Unfortunately, he passed away recently, so there was a lot of stuff going on today. So unfortunately, I didn't get to make it a little bit earlier, but definitely wanted to hop on here and see what this is all about and how incredibly, I guess, different it is in AFK Arena. So I want to hop in here. I want to pull up his wish list specifically. And again, we're going to build this specifically. So we are looking at Scarlet. We're looking at Palmer. We're looking at Rowan in here. Then you have Rosaline. Then he has Rain. Now in the guide specifically, we are building them from left to right. So once I do get Scarlet ascended, we're going to move to Palmer. We're going to move to Rowan, so on and so forth, right down the line, and focusing on the builds that he has here. Now, with the Maulers, Naruko, followed by Crescio, which again, a lot of the newer heroes, Anasta, and then he put Screg, followed by Skarath. And it's kind of interesting because when you look at this build or when you look at the heroes in here specifically, if you're looking kind of outside of the Mauler Tower, there really isn't a lot of utility within a lot of these heroes. Maybe Kren, and again, I know he does have Kren a little bit further down the list, but looking at a lot of heroes in here, there's not a big build and there's not a big drive again, short of the heroes. So for this one, we have Trishia in here, we have Tamris in here, we have Nevi, we have Orin, so literally almost right down the line, followed by Mishka in here. And then the final one, of course, is building out Damon first, which of course we know Damon is the carry. Ivan in there, then it focuses on Grez, which is going to be interesting to see where we can kind of work this. Then we have Silas, then we have Thorin, or excuse me, not Thorin, that is Oden. And these are the builds. So again, when you think of big picture, when you think of heroes that are used today, not looking back, weeks, months, even years of playing AFK Arena, all of these first heroes, Rowan is in there, Rain is in there, Rosaline in there. Absolutely all of these heroes are used. Naruko, Crescio, we have Anasta, not used as much. Screg for the invade, Skarath, definitely used. These 5 definitely used. Then looking here, guys, these 5 definitely used, making all of these heroes have an incredible amount of utility. Now also, when it comes to the Stargazer, we have 1 copy of Demia and then 100% into Liberta. So again, that's going to be kind of interesting to see. No Raku in here, unfortunately. But again, we're focusing on what we're building. Now, he also says, too, is with the scrolls are specifically going into all of the Graveborn heroes. So we are only focusing and only building out the Graveborn heroes until the point that we get the Graveborn heroes ascended. And again, looking back at this guide, he said kind of how to read it. So the first 4 heroes, kind of building them up. The first 5, after the first 5 Graveborn heroes are ascended, you can switch to Wilders. So we are literally going to focus on just the Graveborns out of here. That is going to be the focus. That is what we're going to look to build. And even looking here, guys, you get a lot more stuff out of AFK Arena. And again, I don't start new accounts very often, but when I do, I like looking through them. I like seeing exactly what we do get in different game modes, because a lot of these are things that we didn't get originally, or we don't really get very much. Even here, guys, that are literally giving us diamonds, giving us resources, giving us access to a large hero essence chest, which again, we're going to save. But again, they're giving us a lot of stuff. So we even have right off the bat, we have a very easy way to get a lot of summons and make a lot of progression very early, because we're going to pick up a few heroes out of here. And again, we have our wish list all set. So I'm going to drop all of my diamonds in here, of course, for the summons. We're going to do a 10 summons, which is going to yield us. And I got to change some of the settings in here. But look at that. There's a double right off the bat. So who are we starting with, guys? We got Silas right off of the bat. So we're going to pick up some diamonds in there. And then we have Mishka. So very, very strong. I tried to play this game years ago and got stuck in chapter 6. Restarted with Awakened Athalia. And now I'm chapter 35. Yeah, so Inkasaurus, that's what a lot of players have kind of seen, especially, guys, if you started with Rem or Emilio or one of the newer heroes to AFK Arena. It was insane how much progression you could make in such a very, very short amount of time. And that gives us 3 elite heroes. There's Kren, because of course the one here is just random. So even though we did not put Kren into the wish list, Kren was still the first one that we summoned. As you can see, guys, he is not in the formation. But let me change some of the settings in here. When starting a new account, would you say you should save gems for the Stargazer, not pull everything in the 10 spin for 27? Honestly, God, I would do the 2700. The thing is, if you, and this kind of works both ways, guys, is if you are not doing your start, or if you're not doing your pull, so if you're not doing the regular summons, God, you're going to run out of heroes when it comes to making progression in the King's Tower itself. You want to push the King's Tower as much as possible, and you want to push the King's Tower as hard as possible when you get it open. But the general rule is get Damon, have Damon carry, have Ivan in there, whoever. I Stargaze once we have 12 Ascended faction heroes. Some players do it a little bit earlier. That has kind of been the general rule. It might even be a little bit easier nowadays, just for the simple fact that, again, you can make so much progression fast. And I wanted to cover this. I wanted to go in here and just kind of play around with it because I have so many players that ask so many questions. What's going on, Alfred Us? Strange, no Leica, not even one copy for this. And that's it, Lance. And that's some of the things that I don't know 100% if they have completely changed in AFK Arena, that we're not doing Leica, Nara, Pharrell, kind of a couple heroes in there that we traditionally see in the role. But again, we're going to stick with it. And I want to see, this might be an absolute amazing way to make a ton of progression. I don't know. I don't know, because it's been such an incredible amount of time. So we have Mishka in there, we have Kren, and then we do have Silas. So we'll level them up a little bit. We'll get them some gear and see what we can do here with the heroes that we have. Again, we're out of gold. Happens all the time. Gold is really the thing that holds you back in the beginning, as well as EXP, but we also do get the chests. I know we have a lot of codes that we can definitely pop in there and utilize, but even looking here, guys, we get a free, that's already 4. So even though it said Trena right there, guys, we got 4 heroes already, which is kind of crazy. Again, if I'm a brand new player to AFK Arena, and that's kind of how I'm looking at it in here, is you're getting a lot of heroes literally right off the bat, not going in the Shadow Invasion, not going to a couple different places, but getting a lot of heroes, a lot of diamonds, and a lot of resources. So even looking here, a chest of wishes right off the bat, 2 chests of wishes right off the bat, which we could do more summons with these. We could level up the Elder Tree a little bit. But I want to hop in here, guys. Let's see if we can make a little bit of progression with these heroes that we have. And I'm just going to level up the elites. There's not even a big reason to level up anyone else, in my opinion, right now. Again, normally you would go through here with usually one elite hero. You might even go in here with nobody at the beginning. We're starting 2-4 and we're already starting with a pretty solid team in here. Then we'll throw Savius in here. I know Savius, again, going to make a big difference in there. What's going on, Pluto? Just playing around, pulled the trigger. I wanted to see exactly how the account build, and again, I got a lot of feedback when it came to the guide that In Season and Firefly put up. Wanted to test it, wanted to see exactly what it looks like and kind of how the progression looks. Right there, the labyrinth is open. What's going on, Donovan? How are we doing tonight? I am doing great, guys. We just got cleaned up from the party. Where's the guide at? So the guide is over on Reddit. Let me hop over. Because I know this is one place I actually found it from Reddit, but let me drop that in there. This is the one that we covered a little bit ago. That is on AFK Analytica, which we know that's what the website that In Season runs. But this was over on Reddit. This is originally where I found it a couple days ago. And again, I got a ton of feedback about it, both positive, both negative. That's why I really wanted to test it out and see what it's like starting the new account. It's been, God, I would say months at this point. I think it's been months, probably a few months since we've actually done anything new in here as far as a new account. Still think Twins is #1 Stargazer. I thought about it, Brian. Now I did put a lot of thought about that. Is the Twins do work incredibly well for the Stargazer, but I don't know the power of just having a copy of Demia. And plus, on top of that, you also have to think, I don't know the power of having an early built Liberta. Again, I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like, honestly, because I've never done it. I've never done it. And again, I love doing new things in AFK Arena. I've never seen a new build with Liberta or a new account with Liberta built. So we're going to have to see exactly what it looks like. And we keep just gaining levels here. As we're pushing progression, we'll level up some of the heroes in here. That would totally suck the fun out of it for me, having to be that rigid with what you do at the start. And that's it. It's to me, Trisha, it's fun. It's fun to start it out and try it out and find it, because again, one thing is I don't want to pass a bunch of information that is not going to work. If new players are coming in here and they're trying the builds and they're trying the guide and it doesn't work at all, then we know it doesn't work. And I definitely wanted to check that out. By the way, I've seen you build Awaken Leica on your Wilder faction account. Yeah, French Core, it took forever. It did take a long time to build that Awaken Leica. I believe it was 608. I think we ended up using 608 of our time emblems to actually build up Leica. So it did take quite a while. What's going on, Felipe? First time catching you live. Sorry about the uncle. Happy birthday to your son. Thanks for posting so many videos. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy day. But any time that the whole family gets together, it can be a little bit crazy. I have Liberta and Mythic plus 1 extra copy, but I also need 1 copy left for both Ivan and a star to get them ascended. Honestly, reanimated, I would build out Liberta. I mean, if you're that close, if you already have them at Mythic, the reason being, and the way that I look at it reanimated is when you look at Liberta, Liberta is a hero that is going to be primary damage dealer #1 in a lot of formations. So if you do not have him built, if you don't have the copies of him, it's going to be a lot more difficult because you're going to have to borrow a copy of him. I would get him built. And again, Ivan will work without being fully ascended. Same with a star. A star is actually not used very many places anymore. But Liberta will absolutely. I just got back into the game and my goodness, my characters suck compared to the new ones. Yeah, new ones are kind of crazy, guys. When we start making progression and continuing progression, the power creep, it seemed like really, I would say probably around Guineas. So Guineas is probably one that when Guineas came out, it really, really amplified the power creep that I've seen. And then we had Trishia, and then we had Naruko, and then we had Ivan, we had Liberta, we had Lucilla. All of the heroes that kind of followed Guineas were kind of broken, guys, and they continue to be. Even with that awakened version of Leica, very, very strong with that as well. It seems like a majority of them have picked up an incredible amount of utility, but also an incredible amount of power. What's going on, Kudrak? Nice to see you early morning. Here it is 10:15 p.m., guys. So again, it is a very, very late night stream for where we're at. Should I time gaze for Awakened Leica or Athalia? Honestly, I would do Leica. I would do Leica over the Awakened version of Athalia. Big reason is both of them kind of fill somewhat similar of a role, but that Awakened version of Leica is really, really a game changer in a lot of different formations. Both of them are really good, but Leica I like because she's newer, guys. The newer heroes, of course, always have more power. The Awakened version of Leica does very similar to what we see with Athalia. And look at that, guys. PXLY Plexidin? Plexidin, YouTube. Thank you for subbing to the channel, guys. We're almost to 35,000, which is kind of crazy. So close to chapter 38. Very nice, Raphael. Chapter 38, you are getting there. The big push, guys, is pushing to 41. You want to get to 41. You want to go ahead and complete 41. And the reason being the Misty Valley. The Misty Valley is really really the reason. Why do people go for multiple 1-star ascended characters compared to 1 5-star? So the big thing, the difference between the 1-stars and the 5-stars is the sheer cost. So when you go from ascended to 1-star, you actually get the ability to engrave a hero. That is the big difference between having just the hero ascended and adding that 1-star. But if you look from 1-star to 5-star, there's roughly a 2.5% stat difference between them, which isn't worth it for almost any hero. There's not a lot of heroes, unless you're min-maxing, unless you're building out heroes much higher. The 1-star will work, especially if the hero needs engraving, but the 1-star hero will work almost as well as the 5-star will, but without the 5-star cost of getting those. You have the same kind of luck as I do on my Wilder faction account. Yeah, it was pretty tough on there. Beta Exorcist, thank you for subbing to the channel, guys. That is 2 new subscribers. We shoot for 5 every time we do the stream, so that is 2 of our 5. I'm at 10 copies of Liberta, 590 cards. What are the 1 in 59 odds? Yeah, that's pretty tough, God. 10 copies at 590 cards. The RNG is not with you, just like it was not with me when it came to Leica. They're very, very hard to get through. I only have 2 visits to the Challenger store for Mulan left, currently 30 of 60. Mulan is huge, guys. Mulan is absolutely probably the #1 priority that you want to build out of that Challenger store, followed by, I believe Merlin is in there, and I believe we still do have Leo in there. And then honestly, it's going to be Aziz, or it's going to be Ulna. Honestly, with those. Is Guineas even used for anything? Fadi, every now and then we see Guineas. We still see Guineas every now and then used in formations within the Cursed Realm and the Nightmare Corridor, but not really. A lot of people with Guineas, there's a point where Guineas doesn't have quite the utility, or Guineas is probably one that, in my opinion, would be pretty easy to replace. That, again, is not a huge priority within there, but you can absolutely... When should I stop building Damon? I obviously have Legendary Plus Awakened Belinda. Should I finish her out? Yes, the Awakened version of Belinda, absolutely. Beta Exorcist. Build out that Awakened version of Belinda. She is still the #1 priority. When should I stop building Damon? When you get him to 1-star is fine. Even again, looking at the guide, I believe they have him at a 203. So even building him at Ascended, Damon still does have a lot of utility in a bunch of different places. He still works. He still works. Yeah, Trisha. So the new Lightbearer. So Jerome is coming out on Tuesday, guys. Overall, what we're seeing with Jerome is really just the build of him strictly being a buffer, guys. He doesn't do any damage. Literally, the hero almost does 0 damage, which is kind of insane to see. But Jerome... he's going to have a place similar to what we see with Warwick, similar to what we see with a bunch of different heroes. There's absolutely going to be a place in there. with the new Light Bear just as a buffer. Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor, buffer, absolutely single target, absolutely going to be a buffer. That's it. That's really. Can you recommend any Awakened Leica teams? Me, Awakened Leica is actually running with quite a few different comps. Because of the build out, because of the energy regeneration, we've actually seen Leica ran in a lot of different comps, honestly. So when you look at Leica, and one of the interesting with the Awakened version of Leica, guys, when you look at the Treasure Scramble, when you look at a bunch of different parts, a bunch of different pieces in AFK Arena, she is a very, very strong buffer. As much as we like the damage in formations, as far as a buffer, you could put her in a majority of formations, either as a buffer, but the energy regeneration. So if you have the 9 of 9 furniture on there, you can put casters in there. You can put, Scarlet in there. You can put the Awakened version of Belinda. There's a lot of heroes you can put in there with Leica as a buffer that is going to provide energy in those formations, which just make it that much stronger for the heroes. And we're literally, guys, Mishka is just pulling this through. I thought I'd have to hop over and actually level up these heroes a lot more. This is what makes me think and continues to make me believe that AFK Arena is a lot easier than it used to be, guys, just based on the heroes that we have here, based on the builds. It seems like we're trying out the new wish list, Jovan. I wanted to check it out and see if we followed in season's wish list, exactly what it looked like and how well and how fast and how strong we can actually go through here. I still prefer my Awakened Athalia. Yeah, and that's it. So when you look at Athalia, when you look at Leica, some of their team dynamics, some of their builds are very similar. But overall, Awakened Athalia has a place, Leica has a place, and a majority of the Awakened heroes do, guys. That's one thing, of course, to remember is when it comes to the Awakened heroes, their power is much higher than other heroes. That's it. I mean, hands down. The Awakened heroes, even again, if you look at some of the guides that we've seen, when you look at where the regular heroes fall on the power scale, and I believe in season had one like 1 to 13, Awakened heroes are like 17 plus. So it's kind of crazy that it is. Yeah. And that's it, Andre. That is what I'm seeing. I remember how incredibly difficult AFK Arena was for a long time. And I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it with the new heroes. And it looks like we're at a point where we're probably not going to make much more progression. But we'll scoop up some loot in here. We'll do a couple more summons. Hopefully, we'll get and look at the diamonds. And I want to get into here and build out a couple heroes. And again, we have a lot more to build here. Let's build up Kren a little bit higher. Throw some more gear on there. I know literally we're sitting on so many basic heroes. So we'll go to 20. Right now, I'm going to have to figure out who the carry is going to be right now. Till we get somebody else. And here we are out of essence. We could pop open our chest. We could get some more essence in there. But again, right now, guys, I'm just going to save it. I'm going to save for what we have. But we didn't have to use any of our first heroes, guys, which is kind of crazy. That again, we got 4 elite heroes right off the bat. When do you think Rem will come to the garrison? Honestly, probably 2 or 3 weeks at most. I believe Rem is going to be in the garrison relatively quickly. Rem and Amelia, usually it is about 5 to 6 months after release is what we've seen with Geralt and Yennefer. And I think it's going to be the exact same. It should be coming pretty close. Yeah, and that's it. So even looking in here, guys, when you look at Mishka and Silas, that's a pretty strong team right off the bat because Mishka has the wolves. So again, that's kind of a cheating factor. Is we do have both wolves in here as well. So when we make progression, it's a lot easier. It is a lot easier in here. Next hero may be a dimensional Robin Hood, according to Dolly in the test server. What do you think? It could be. I know there's a lot of speculation. I'm hoping that it is a hero from an existing game. That is really out for us. That is what I am hoping. That it is not going to be just the one-off dimensional hero that they kind of build here and there. I hope it is going to be a crossover with a game for the dimensional hero. Let's see if we can speed this up a little. I also forgot how slow this was. Do I get all of these splash screens? No way, guys. Look at these. This is literally just going to farm us a ton of diamonds. And I think it'll do it for the book as well. I'm not sure at what point we have to unlock the book. But look at all of these splash screens in here, guys. And again, is a new account much easier to play? In my opinion, absolutely, guys. We didn't get any of this, and we haven't even used any codes. I know the codes are going to yield us a ton of diamonds in there. But I mean, that's a couple thousand, even there, the arena is open. That's a couple thousand diamonds right there. We could literally, we have everything just in Echoes of Time the same. We get all 3 books and all 3 books full of diamonds, which is kind of crazy. So the arena is open, guys. Dolly is up again. Get a couple diamonds out of here. There's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah, like I was saying, guys. Oh, and we have our 3rd subscriber, Overlord. Thank you for subbing to the channel. I didn't even notice it, guys. I didn't see it pop up. I apologize, but that is 3 new subscribers already, guys. Let's see if we can make some more progression in here. We'll get some arena tickets. We'll start unlocking this Field of Stars. More campaign progression, finishing that one out. We got a copy of Arden in there. Couple more summons. Maybe it's going to be another elite, which it is, guys. Who's it going to be? It is Oden. That is very, very cool to see. There is another copy of an elite hero, guys, and Oden is strong. Guys, when you talk about a hero that, especially early game, that is going to be able to carry as well as the rest of the heroes. So there's our starting 5. So even right off the bat, guys, that gives us our starting 5 heroes. So I can actually drop Savius out of the formation. Got a little bit of better gear, and I think we can actually level these up a little bit more. Out of gold again, but that should be our starting 5. And that is a pretty darn strong start right there, guys. That is kind of crazy. The game used to be so much harder. Multi-use have to beat 1 go. Yeah, I remember, Lazarus, when a lot of players used to just go through and you use the key loggers or the auto battlers or anything because we didn't have auto battle. A lot of tactics that players used once upon a time in this game. It is kind of crazy to see again where it's come to at here. What's going on, Darren? I was hoping to sleep on Jerome. Love made the last few heroes. Yes, that is the problem that we're seeing, Brian, is when you look at so many of the last heroes that we've seen, all of the heroes have been meta, and all of the heroes, when you look at Trishia, even going back to Crescio, a lot of them have required a very, very high build. Then you throw in Liberta, then you throw in Leica, then you throw in Lucilla. My resources are burnt. They are literally toast. Even for the account, the YouTube account that we put money into, they are done. Guys, my resources are crazy. Rem is going to be a game changer early. Yes. So there were a couple players, Hikari, that pushed Rem through. The trial version of Rem actually ran through 30 chapters with Rem as the carry, which is crazy. I've got a question. Did you skip chapters 1 and 2? Yes, I did, Dale. Yeah, it skipped right past 1 and 2 to make it easy because it says you're not a novice. You don't have to go through all of the novice. There was no reason. We literally just skipped right through there. So sorry for your loss. Thank you, Darren. Yeah, it's been like I said, it's been kind of an odd day. Anytime something, really unexpected happens in life, it is kind of odd. But I know and again, I apologize for not making the stream earlier. I was going to throw out a message, didn't have time, just a lot going on, but glad to be here with you guys now. My Oden is 9 engraving away from E60. Raphael, the 60 engraving on Oden makes a big difference, guys. The anytime that you have damage dealers in AFK Arena, and you build them up, you add more stats to them, more engraving on them, more signature item, they do better and stronger, and the damage caps get higher with the heroes out of there. The new twins followed by Awaken Like it drained every resource out of me. Yeah, Beacon of Hope, 100% agree with you in your entirety, guys. The twins, with building double heroes is hard, followed by the Awakened hero. Again, resource-wise, guys, you're just literally burnt out. It's kind of crazy. Beep boop. What's going on, Milk Tea? The reason I asked the new players have to do, yeah, the Shadow Invasion. Shadow Invasion is pretty fun, guys, but I feel like, and this goes for a lot of different game modes, Dale, is I feel like if AFK Arena, if Lilith put leaderboards with rewards, and I want to stress that, guys, if they made the leaderboards, let's say in Shadow Invasion, that maybe it ran every month, that you actually had the ability to get additional loot for being on the leaderboards, would give a reason for players to play those game modes. And I honestly think it would be game changing if they had the opportunity, again, to go in there, scored leaderboards, old school games, with a high score going in there and gave you rewards based on the leaderboards. I think it would be awesome. I feel like Oden deserves a skin at some point. Yeah, that would be really cool. I would definitely love to see a skin on there. Yeah, it's been tough. Yeah, again, the heroes, guys, and Jerome, I think, unfortunately, is probably going to be the same. To see the higher utility in him, to see all of the buffs that he's bringing to formations, you're probably going to have to build him out. Maybe not as high, like a 60 engraving, but I feel like you're still going to require him to get a little bit of a build in there to actually have the ability to be effective in the game modes. And the new heroes just carry, guys. New Voyage is up. There we go. We have the Monkey King. We have a couple new things. So Monkey King, I believe we just have to share. This is probably going to pop up on my Facebook, which there we go. So we get the Monkey King. I think we can close it and it gives us the ability to just collect it. So there's the Monkey King, guys. So we get another one at this point. That's what, 6? The Monkey King, I believe they give you a couple copies if you go through the Shadow Invasion, if you go through a couple other places. If I remember correctly, I believe they give you a couple different copies of him. Labyrinth of Limbo is up as well. And again, that is something we didn't have once upon a time. We had no Labyrinth of Limbo. We didn't have the ability to get all of the resources out of a bunch of different game modes. We didn't even have the Dismal Maze once upon a time. Again, it's kind of crazy just to see where this game is going. And I'm going to be interested to see, when we hit the 5-year, when we hit the 7-year, when we hit the 10-year, what happens with that. We need Trial of God revamp. Yes, I would love that, Chris. I would love if they did the Trials of God, if they added new artifacts in there, or if they gave you the ability, and I think kind of the collaboration or building it out. I would love if once you got an artifact to 5 stars, you could possibly take it a little bit higher. I would like to see the ability to literally just take our artifacts possibly a little bit higher, like we've seen with other places, or that we've seen with other parts of AFK Arena, that the artifact could be built out a little bit higher. Because again, you get to a point where you don't really have much to do as far as AFK Arena. But it would be pretty neat. It'd be pretty neat. I love the voyages, guys. I love the peaks of time. I love the old adventures that we went through. That part of this game, I feel like, again, that's kind of a miss. Same with the guild bosses. I feel like the guild bosses in here are a pretty big miss. I know they keep focusing on the Nightmare Corridor and the progression that we're making in the Cursed Realm, the bosses, the Nightmare Corridor, the bosses. But they could redo the guild aspect of this game and make it phenomenal. A lot more players would come back. A lot more players would be really the collaboration effort that we've seen on the guild aspect would be very, very cool to see. And again, I feel like that's a big miss for AFK Arena. Are you going to be your own mentor? I could, Dale. So most of you know, with having multiple accounts, which right now I only run 2. 2 is all that I run, guys. I run the pay to win the YouTube account, and I also run the free to play account. That's pretty much it. I logged on to the faction accounts not long ago, just do a couple summons on there. But the active accounts that I'm running, I only run 2. Been focusing on more of the content on here, making more progression through the accounts that I am running, and also focusing on the Furry Hippo Finance channel. Both of those has been taking up a considerable amount of time, but being able to focus more on that YouTube account is really the primary focus. I didn't want to miss anything on there, and I feel like it's at the point we're doing well in there. Definitely think someone is getting a skin this year. So I believe, Raphael, there are 2. Now, if you guys follow AFK Inside, I believe there are 2 skins that are coming, and Lilith has been doing this for a while, Raphael, is one skin will actually be the free skin that you earn through an event or something that we have going on. And then the second skin will be the one that is usually the pay to win skin or the skin that you actually have to purchase. And they've been doing that, I believe, the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, that they've been doing the collaboration of one you earn and one you can buy, with the skins for Halloween and the skins when it comes to Christmas. I feel like that is going to be it. I feel it's immensely smart on Lilith's part to making the early game a breeze, catch up anyone with a bit of dedication to the late chapters. Yes, Lazarus, absolutely, I agree. If they make the game too hard up front, nobody would play it. But what I've also heard from people, and it's interesting because with YouTube and having kind of access to, 35,000 subscribers that we have to the channel, a lot of players have also been saying, that there's so much content to this game. How do they even consider it an AFK game at this point? Just because there is so much content. So if we push through here, let's say we push through, 10 or 12 chapters, we are going to go through those 10 or 12 chapters. It's going to be incredibly easy to get through there, but we're going to unlock a ton of game content, which means, again, as a new player, easy to get overwhelmed. That's really something that a lot of players really talk about, is getting overwhelmed in a couple different game modes, just because there is so much that is going on here. Yes, we know we can enchant our gear. There we go. We can enchant Mishka's helmet. Let's see. So what do we have? 40 right here. I'm going to get Silas up a little bit higher so we unlock a couple more abilities. Let's get Mishka possibly a little bit more survivability in here. And again, we're out of gold. I'm saving the resources. The rest of this, I'm just saving right now. Well, we get to a point, and most of you guys, if you guys have went through here, is go through, make progression to the point of not being able to, hop in the tower, do progression, go through the maze, do some of your voyages, hop around, do progression. Literally for the first, 40 chapters, you just run circles around AFK Arena. And it works incredibly well. Yeah, the pay to win skin. So if guys, depending again how long you've been playing AFK Arena, when the very first skin, let me ask, who knows what the very first skin in AFK Arena was? So when AFK Arena released skins into the game, what was the first skin? Let's see who knows it. Let's see who knows it. Do I have any Damon team suggestions? So Milk Tea, for Damon, you want support. You want support or crowd control. That is it. Those are the 2 big priorities for Damon. You have to keep him alive. If keeping them alive means getting some crowd control on the enemies, that is really the way to do it. So let's see. Oh, Kraken Crunch is here as well. And that is right, guys. Lazarus, Kraken Crunch. I think Lazarus got it first right there. It was Brutus. Brutus was the very first skin that we did see with AFK Arena. All right, bonus question here, Lazarus, Kraken Crunch, Brutus. What stats were on Brutus's skin when it came out? What were the stats when Brutus's skin came out that AFK Arena just lost their minds about when it came to Discord, when it came to every single part of AFK Arena? What buffs were on Brutus's skin? Brutus's skin was the first one. The first skin they introduced was Brutus's skin in AFK Arena, but what was the buff on there, again, that everyone lost their mind on? One question, would it be possible to make a 4F no dimensional, no celestial game modes like normal recorder? It is. So bilingual duelist, if you're sticking to the 4 primary factions, you can do it, and you can do it incredibly well. Of course, there are going to be some game modes that are going to suffer, Nightmare Corridor, Cursed Realm, yes, etc. Especially the Treasure Scramble as well. But yeah, you definitely can. You can focus on the 4 primary factions and only use cards, but what you're going to find is you're going to build out the heroes you need very, very fast based on the wish list. And let's see. So the first one was Elfredus. You are correct. And Fozzie stats question mark. That was right. And Hector, thank you for subbing to the channel, guys. That is 4 of the 5 subscribers that we're looking for. But yes, absolutely, Elfredus hit it right on the head. So when Brutus's skin was released, guys, it offered a 2% HP buff for the original version of Brutus. Everybody lost their mind. Literally, everyone went crazy when the skin had stats. If you've played Idle Heroes, if you've played a lot of other games, there has been so many games that offered skins, had stats, skins had buffs, skins were very pay to win in a lot of cases. With this game, as soon as everyone went crazy, when Brutus's skin came out with the 2% HP, again, Discord, Reddit, everything blew up with negative comments. They quickly hotfixed Brutus's skin, taking away the 2% HP, never to be had again. No stats on skins ever since we've seen Brutus's skin with the 2% HP. And again, that was, God, 3 years ago. I would probably say 3 years ago. Yep. And I don't know why I remember all of the silly stuff about games, which is kind of insane. It's logged in long-term memory somewhere in here. But even when I think of like Final Fantasy 1 that I played on Nintendo aimlessly with my my Black Mage, it's all still there, guys. I remember the maps. I remember World of Warcraft maps all through Burning Crusade, all through, you know, even looking at a lot of different dungeons, a lot of different raids. I did it out of muscle memory a lot of times. AQ40, we probably ran hundreds of, thousands of times in World of Warcraft. Still remember all of these weird stats, all of these weird things, even playing Dark Age of Camelot. Again, yeah, it was kind of crazy as well. The twin skin unintentionally gave up. Yeah, that was another one, guys. That was they considered it a bug. Some people considered it an exploit with that bug specifically in the Abyssal Expedition. But definitely wanted to check it out. It's pretty interesting to see. So why another new account? I'm just playing around, Jay Guy. Sitting on here, I wanted to be able to chat with you guys a little bit. Sit here and try out the new kind of build that we're seeing. You can see we have a lot more diamonds in here. Let's actually do another summon in here, which I think we already have enough. We're building out the wish list. If you guys, again, caught the video that we had with In Season, he put out a priority list. He put out a brand new wish list that we built out specifically, and we're going to focus on building it out. All of the heroes that are specifically to the build. And we pulled literally an elite hero every single time. And there is Orin, guys, which is awesome to see. So Orin, early game, I don't know. And what is going on? Brian gifted 5 Furry Hippo Gaming memberships. Thank you for gifting the memberships. That is amazing to see, guys. Not only did we almost get our 5 subscribers, but we got 5 gifted memberships as well. That one guy, Kraken Crunch, awesome. Royce, Riley, and Den, thank you, Brian, for gifting the memberships. That is, I love seeing the hippos, guys. You can see the little red ones and the little silver ones, a couple different ones in here, depending how long you've been supporting the channel. So thank you for all the love and support, guys. Look, it says, go ahead. Dolly's telling me to use the wish list, which we are, guys. I want to see, I should be able to actually turn up the speed on here, which I'm hoping, there we go. The game accelerator. We're getting a lot more loot in here. Again, campaign, we're going to get a couple more diamonds out of here, a couple more resources, and then, of course, a couple more summons. We could run in here, and I'm thinking I'm going to hop over. We can use our codes. I think there's like 5 codes, 7 codes. I think there's a ton of codes in there. I threw Best in Slot Spire team and the Spire channel. Oh, thank you, Chris. Yeah, the Spire teams, I went back and forth, guys. The Spire teams we've done very, very well with. If you guys haven't went through the Spire, it went through pretty easy. The Spire I thought was going to be, and again, with all of the players that were throwing a fit about how difficult the Spire was, and then going through the Spire, it didn't seem like it was really super difficult to go through. They gave us an incredible amount of resources, especially once we got closer to the end. We've gotten a ton of resources in there. And look at that, Valexria, Thank you for subbing to the channel, guys. That is 5. And I believe Hector, I don't think we caught Hector. Maybe we did catch Hector, the mighty subscriber. And that might have been 6. I might have missed that one with Brian giving out those gift memberships. Again, awesome to see, guys. Let me hop over. You know what? I'm going to hop over. Let me pull up everything over here, and I'm going to pull up the gift codes. I want to drop in the code redemptions on here and pull up some of these codes, because I know we have quite a few in here. And if you want to, you know what? I probably wouldn't friend the account, just for the simple fact that we're probably not going to be playing this an incredible amount. I know with focusing on the 2 other accounts, that's kind of going to be the focus, but I wanted to hop in here, log in, and I'm going to copy and paste some of these codes over here. How good is the new Light Bearer here? So overall, King Frost is going to be a very, very, very strong buffer. That's going to be really the biggest thing that we're going to see with the new hero, is going to be the buffing aspect. And honestly, the buffs are crazy. The buffs are crazy with the new hero. And I'm going to see if these codes, which ones I can actually get in here to work. Give me just a moment. And even now, guys, the amount of codes that we have in here, I'm literally going through the list of codes that I found a little bit earlier. We'll do a couple more summons, hopefully get some additional copies of these heroes. There's a few that I want to pick up. And then, of course, guys, we're going to be looking for Demia. I want to see if we can get a copy of an Awakened hero, which would be awesome. I'm going to skip all of the sticker codes. And it's even pretty funny that I know what the sticker codes are. The AFK 888. Again, if you haven't used all of these codes, there's quite a few. I'm not going to populate them all. There's some that I don't think are working, some that have always worked, and some we haven't seen a code in a while. I'm literally sitting over on my secondary screen and copying all these. There we go. So we got all those, guys. Let's hop back over. Yeah, codes give a lot of summons, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's redeem these. There we go. So we got a couple hundred, which I think we're missing some codes in there. Again, I just used a quick list in here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 codes. I think there's quite a few more codes. And again, I just pulled up literally the first list that came over there. But we want to do some more summons in here. We have a few more of our rare heroes. Not enough for a summon. I thought we'd have enough. And I'm thinking there's a couple codes in there that I'm missing that we'll have to pick up. We'll have to get a couple more of these codes out there. Let me see. Let's level up a little bit more. Getting Old Pale, which of course is going to make Kren very, very strong. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, late night stream. Oh, look at that Night Shiver. 11 months. Hippo is the best YouTuber. Thank you. We know Night Shiver is the GM of the accounts over on the FHG. So big shout out to Night Shiver, guys. Supporting the channel for almost a year. Did the server just release? I think it was new, Roger. I think it said new by the server. So I think this is the most current server that we have. And then we have Milk Tea subscriber as well. We're looking at 7 new subscribers, guys, which is kind of crazy, but that is awesome. I want to see if I can find a couple more codes over here. Let me see. Let me see if I can find a couple more codes in our code list over here while we go through a couple more stages. Because again, I thought there were a lot more codes. I want to see, there are so many sites that literally just list. A lot of the sites on here though are old. A lot of codes that we see, a lot of different sites with AFK codes. Even if I put 2023 codes, a lot of times they are older. This one says September 23. Yeah, let me check out some of these as well. But it says some of these have actually been canceled or closed, like AFK Summer. I believe that one is already expired. Yeah, I did the 888. If that's the one you're talking about, Bama, I did that one. Let me run through a couple of these codes. I thought there were some really big codes that were still out there. But this is even telling me that a lot of these codes are expired, which it literally says this is September 2023. It has been updated. Expired. Now I think most of these are expired at this point. Nope, still expired. Let me see. Greyborn, Wilder, I know those. Again, most of these I think I already used. And I got to figure out. I wanted the one with 30 common scrolls. I don't know why. I think we just redeemed that one. I think we got it. Let me check. Yeah, most of those are saying that they're already used. And look at that. Lee Ak, thank you for subbing to the channel. All right, so we got one more code, which again, I thought the 30 scrolls. I knew we missed that one for the 30 scrolls, guys. 1900, so let's do a couple more summons in here. Hoping to get lucky with a good hero, but there's another elite. There is Grez. Now, Grez, of course, guys, early game, Grez doesn't really work. Grez is very, very difficult early game. I wonder if we can even get our free 300 here. And again, it's just going to populate up to my YouTube. We'll close this out, and I believe it drops the diamonds. There we go. Free diamonds out of there, guys. Anyway, they will give us diamonds. And there is another one. Trishia. Now, it's interesting because we're going to have to figure it out, guys, because looking at Orin, looking at Trishia, looking at a lot of the newer heroes to AFK Arena, we have never used. I've never had a new account with these newer heroes that we're finding. So we have what? 5, 6, 7. We have 8, and we have 9 elites out of here already, guys. We could do another summon out of there. I'm wondering. Let me know. Let me know what you guys are thinking with the lineup in here. Isn't there a 50 scroll that's always active by the time the one's expired? Yeah, I didn't find that one, Lazarus. AFK Redeem in the app that updates regularly. I'm going to have to get that app. I know I've seen the app a couple times. There's a lot of them already expired. Yeah, that's what I've seen. It looks like there are quite a few of them that are expired. Not including the sticker one. There's 6 right now. I did, with that one, I believe that is 6. I believe I did all of them then. Which is okay. I'm okay with it. We'll make some more progression. Which even here, guys, running through here with Kren, I know we don't have any copies of Damon in here, but this is going to conclude what? Chapter 3 already, moving into 4 in less than an hour. So, I mean, pretty good. We haven't touched the tower. We haven't touched the arena. We haven't touched anything but the campaign. And again, I'm wondering exactly how far we can get through here with running the newer formations. And I think I'm going to swap a couple heroes around. There's chapter 4. I want to see how a few of these work. Look for a mentor to guide you on the way, which we could grab a mentor, but I want to try out, let's try out Orin. And again, I'm kind of curious on some of the heroes just because we haven't used them. There are so many, so like Citrana, I'm going to take out. You know what? I'm going to put in, who's newest? Trishia is the newest, so I'm going to put in Trishia. I'm just wondering, early game, how effective some of these heroes really are. So let's drop that out. Let's drop Trishia in, and let's see what it does. Yeah, I can grab the diamonds in there. I'll grab them in a minute, Raphael. Yeah, Orin is OP early game. That's what I'm wondering. And I'm wondering with Trishia as well. Just because we know Mishka, Trishia, the combination there. So 21. Again, guys, Kren, I know the level makes a big difference in there, but that is pretty solid. Let's finish up our chapter rewards. A couple more scrolls out of there. We do get Ogi in there. Let me grab up these and do another summon and see what we get. And again, overall, it seems earlier game that it's easier. I know we haven't gotten Damon. We haven't gotten Ivan yet. Couple heroes we haven't gotten copies of. But I feel like if we do, even if we get a copy of one Awakened Hero, plus if we get to the point to be able to use the trial version of the Awakened version of Leica, I feel like that's going to be really, really big game changer. I'm wondering, again, how much we can kind of push through here with the heroes that we're pulling out of here. And then, of course, Damon is still the priority when it comes to early game, when it comes to Starting out, Damon, 100% guys, big priority. So that gives us 4,000 diamonds in there. Plus we need what? One more scroll for a summon. Just some more rare cards in there. It's okay. Did we get anything else to summon in here? We got, no, we have a couple more. 9, I'm going to save. I'm going to save those and see where we get through. Mentor my main account. It's open right now. You know, I have all the good tunes to borrow. Yeah. With the mentoring, because I believe, can't you use, I don't even remember the other side of the mentor. Send me an invite, Night Shiver. I don't know if you can find new player. Yeah, let me add a couple in here, or we'll just apply friends request. None in there right now. And again, I don't know how long we're going to be playing this, but these are all new players, so that's okay. I want to see exactly what we can do. And then of course, Tiki, Fallen King. Let me apply. What's your UID, Night Shiver? Send me the UID. I'll go in here. I'll go through a little bit on this. Rez, Mishka, Iran, Oden, Trishia, with the Greyborn. So the problem is in there, Grez. Grez is very, very hard to push. Grez is really, really hard. Early game, Grez gets crushed. Mishka, absolutely. Orin, I can see. Trishia, absolutely. We just need some support. We need some support or crowd control, or we're just going to get toasted in here, is my thought. Once we get a little bit further, even Trishia, guys, I like the abilities. I like that. Any news about the Dimensional Tower? Nothing as of yet, Alfredos. I know we hear it a lot of times. I know we've been waiting for it. Seems like it's been forever, guys. That tower, it's been crazy just how long we've been waiting for the Dimensional Tower. They mentioned it last year. Now, they've also said, if you looked at the conference they did, I believe it was in China. I believe it might have been Taiwan. But when you look at the conference that they had for AFK Arena, there's going to be a lot of changes coming to AFK Arena coming into Q4. There's going to be quite a few, quite a few changes that are going to be coming to the game, which I'm super excited to see exactly what we're going to get or what is going to be coming going into Q4. It's going to be interesting because they've said a lot of things this year that they're going to be looking at, that they're going to be adjusting. Again, there's going to be 996-83871. There we go. We'll go ahead and share this. We'll pick up another 200 right there. Again, guys, free diamonds kind of hide everywhere. It's kind of crazy, like how many diamonds literally just are in all different game modes, all different places. With the resource. So make a purchase at the store, make a friend. So we still got to make a friend in there. But out of the store, guys, this is going to be your buy. This is going to be really the first buy. Barracks, we're saving up some stones right there. Labyrinth, we haven't even been through. Then, of course, library, guys, if we wanted to farm all of these out of there, which, you know what? Let's see what we get out of here. I know it's literally just going to be a lot of diamonds through this game mode. Turn the pages, and I think this is going to give us literally enough for a couple more summons. They stacked these in here. And again, thinking from the lens of a new player to AFK Arena, being able to go in here, see all the stories, see all the build outs, see kind of where the heroes came to. Now, one thing to remember is when it comes to the Awakened heroes, like I said earlier, tower progression is going to be a lot easier because a lot of the diamonds that we're using within the tower progression, the Stargazer cards, the time emblems, we're going to have the ability to not summon essentially any of the original heroes, any of the old heroes. The older Awakened heroes, we're not going to use any diamonds on. We're not going to use any cards on, which are going to make a big difference when it comes to progression. Because a new player doesn't have to build any of the old heroes. Any of the old heroes that they don't want to build, they're not going to have to. I have friend slot open. What an unusual time. Yeah, Jordan, I know. So again, we had a lot of stuff kind of going on today. There's another elite, guys. Is it Nevi? So now we have some support in there. Nevi's another hero, however, not super effective early game. Early game, not super effective. There we go, guys. We get some resources. Got Solemn Vow gives us some rewards. And look at this. Even when we're looking at Essence, Early game, this is easy. It is easy mode going through so much of this content just because they're feeding us resources, and they're feeding us resources in so many different areas. I'm just going to pop these open. Let's see if we can get a couple more levels on these heroes. Again, here, I'm going to go summons. I'm going to go all summons for these chests just because we're earlier and we can use them. Let's go with a couple more resources right there. That is going to give us enough to add a couple more levels. You know what? I'm going to go with Trishia in here. Let's build up Trishia. I want to see exactly what she can do. Again, as a newer hero to AFK Arena, Trishia can be the carry if we had some gold. That's okay though. So level 60 already. And again, we're an hour in, not even an hour in at this point. And we already have a level 60 hero. That's crazy. That's crazy. What's going on, Sheen? Thank you for joining us. I have this new account in Scarlet Legendary Plus, Rowan, Guineas Legendary, Iran, and Naruko. I'm stuck at chapter 11. I can't level up anything until I hit 125. So what you want to do is, in that case, take Scarlet. Scarlet is going to be your focus, and really just build up Scarlet. Scarlet will be your carry if you don't have Damon built. Build out Scarlet. Scarlet will carry you, and Scarlet will carry you for a significant amount of time. Scarlet's pretty broke. If you can get Scarlet to ult, especially because you have Rowan in there, you're just going to need someone to block her like Naruko. You're probably going to need a little bit more crowd control in there to get through chapter 11. Push the tower. If you push the tower quite a bit, you'll get resources to get them a little bit higher. Essentially, what you want to do in this game, especially if you're in chapter 11, guys, is you want one main hero that is going to carry, that is a damage dealer. That is going to be your big focus, is one main hero. Trishia's at 28k. One main hero that is going to be your carry. The rest of them, you either want support or you want crowd control. That is the big focus, guys. When you get to that point of being able to build the heroes, or be able to support the primary damage dealer, which again, in your case, is going to be Scarlet. Scarlet is going to be the one that you want to focus on to make that progression, and that's it. Scarlet is, you don't want to level up all of the heroes. You always want to keep Scarlet maxed out on levels to the point you can't level her up anymore. Even if all of your other heroes are lower, Scarlet is going to be the primary one you want to build out there. Problem for new players is they lack heroes to push towers, especially when they start. So that was my thought to Crack and Crunch, is not having the ability to push towers early. But you have to remember, through all of the years that we've had the faction towers, all of the heroes have actually had a crazy amount to the power creep, which means technically they might have less heroes, but be able to make a little bit more progression with the heroes that they do possess because of the power creep. Whoever his mentor is, give him the test to do the labyrinth twice a week. Yeah, that's the big one. I've been able to join a live stream. Yeah, I wanted to, especially streaming at a different time, guys. I know a lot of people, it catches kind of off guard that we're streaming at kind of an off hour. But I like doing it sometimes because we also have the ability to see a lot of players that are in different time zones. When we kind of tie it to that 1 p.m. on Sundays, I know a lot of people can't make the time zone, or it's late wherever they're at. Again, makes a big difference. What's going on, Dark Lucifer? Yeah, I gave him 10 summons and he already got it done. Yeah, the 10 summons was fast and that was easy. Thank you, Night Shiver. Again, we're in chapter 4. I feel like, again, we might switch out. I might switch out Oden down here actually with another hero just to bring a little bit of the more of the support aspect. Running double support in here is really strong. It is really strong. The worst feeling right now is that I didn't get Rem on my main account because I took a year break from AFK Arena. You'll get there. You'll get there. Absolutely. As soon as Rem comes to the garrison, you can get Rem. That is it. Just tuning in. What's the goal of the account? So Freeman, on this, we're actually building out all of our formations, and I can actually bring it over. So a couple of videos ago, we put out a list that actually In Season did. Big shout out to him, guys. And I think I can just swing it over. I don't know how it's going to look with all of the overlays, but In Season put out a guide, and this is actually the guide that he put out. So we wanted to follow our wish list. I'm going to try to kind of center this. We're following the wish list and we're following the builds out specifically to what he put in here, even building out Demia, building out Liberta. And I want to see how effective it is in here. And again, big shout out to In Season and Firefly for putting this together, guys. But I want to see exactly how effective it is going through here with some of the new heroes and building out the new heroes again, specifically focusing on Scarlet. We have Naruko, we have Trishia, and we have Damon are going to be the big focuses on the heroes building in here and making progression and seeing if it really does make sense from a new player's perspective when they're going through the content. Is it going to make sense? So can we keep Trishia alive? And a lot of the heroes I've never seen early game. That's another part is when you look at the progression, when you think of earlier game in AFK Arena, honestly, if you're not an early game player, if you're not relatively new to AFK Arena, you're not going to know either essentially how effective, again, these heroes are early game, because I even don't know early game exactly what this is. I know I can get him on the reset. Yeah, we'll get him on the reset. I have Lucius, Rowan, and Scarlet. Who should I add to the team or swap out? That one, Scarlet, you want to build Scarlet and Rowan. Scarlet and Rowan, guys, are the number, even on this list, guys, the number 1 and number 3 to build. Scarlet and Rowan work together exceptionally well because Rowan is going to feed Scarlet energy, which is exactly what you want to happen, kind of based on the build. Lucius is one you're probably going to swap out. Lucius doesn't have a lot of effectiveness. Early game, it'll still work okay, but you're going to get to the point where you're not really going to use the hero very much at all. But you'll get to the point where Lucius doesn't have a spot, guys. Even when you look at a majority of the heroes built, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, there's not really any of them, maybe a one-off niche use that are being used today. It's kind of crazy. I'm in chapter 28. I only have 220 Ascended Damon and 200 Ivan. That is awesome, Jay. Right there. Jay is the proof that Ivan and Damon can just carry it like we've seen from AFK Arena. That Damon has been broke since Damon came out, guys. Damon has been such a very, very strong carry. Then you throw Ivan in the mix and it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy to see. I really like this and we'll be keen to keep up with the content you release with this account. Yeah, that's another reason, guys. Like I said, I only play the 2 accounts right now. So to hop in here, do a little bit of progression in here, make a little bit of content. It's good to see it, again, from a newer player's perspective, because I don't get to see it very often. It's been probably a year, maybe over a year since we did the power level account. So it's cool to see. It does keep it fresh. It does keep it new to see kind of a new account. Okay, honest opinion. What is the worst hero in AFK Arena? The worst, they would probably go with Walker. Let me know in the comments, guys. Who is the worst hero from AFK Arena? Again, Walker is probably one of the, if not the absolute top worst hero in AFK Arena. Just for the simple fact that it was a hero that was so disappointing that nobody ever built him. Even when you stacked him in the Abyssal Expedition, even when you stacked him in different game modes, even putting relics behind Walker, we didn't see any utility and we didn't see any usefulness with the hero at all, which was pretty sad because even, again, stacking relics, there was no utility for the hero, which is kind of silly to think that they made the hero with no utility whatsoever. Kind of crazy that they would do that to us. Without the utility that we see from the hero. And I feel like it's like a walk in the park, guys. That it's not super taxing in here to go through here. I'm sure we're going to hit somewhat of a wall sooner or later is what I'm thinking, but we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see exactly where we get there. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. A lot of people say Oscar. I hear Oscar too. And there we go, guys. Just like we do every stream, we give away our gifting of a membership. Not sure who it's going to go out to. It goes out to Ken. Congratulations, Ken. There is the gifting membership. So you do get the little hippo right there. So it is very, very cool to see. Congratulations. Ivan is just super broken. Yes. Ivan is super broken, guys, even in a lot of different formations. Ivan is a broken hero, no doubt. It's kind of crazy. Rigby and Walker are competing for the worst spot. That's pretty spot on there. Pretty spot on there. I dare someone to make an account for Walker carry. Yeah, that would be pretty tough. You'd be stuck in probably chapter 3 with a Walker carry. Again, I don't know how or why they made a hero like Walker. Honestly, I don't know why. And they never buffed him. They never even cared. And they made him the Walker Texas Ranger that he's a warrior. Again, which is kind of silly to think of as well. Oscar is awesome in the AE. Honestly, Dale, as much as I used Oscar, I never found him super effective in any game mode, unfortunately. Even in the AE, I use Oscar a lot, trying to get him to work, short of just being a light bearer. Never seen it very much. Good morning. Good morning. That is right. I always got to read it because it's 11 o'clock here, guys. But thank you for the good morning. It is almost the good night. Yada. Over where I'm at in my neck of the woods, we got work in the morning, got a lot of stuff going on, but I wanted to see where we could push and make campaign progression, which again, going back here, gaining some more levels, gaining some more build, even leveling up a little bit more. I think even a couple of these, we should be able to level up a little bit more just based on the amount of gold that we have, but we could level up some gear, making some more progression. Should be able to get through chapter 4, in my opinion. Rigby, a monster. Yeah. When you fight Rigby, Rigby is a nightmare. When you have Rigby, Rigby doesn't do anything. Rigby is super inefficient in pretty much any way. But again, you fight him and he's a nightmare to fight. What do I think about Damon, Scarlet, Palmer, Edwin, and Silas? That's a really strong team, Raul. It's a really strong team. So Scarlet, again, Scarlet, if you add more damage in there, Damon is one that if you get Damon to scale, that'll be very, very strong. Also, Edwin requires a pretty heavy investment as well. Edwin does have to have the investment to have the Dominion work in there. Follow up to my question, would you be able to make a list with only for a complete game mode, for a couple game modes? Again, you could, Bilinguist, if you're looking to stay with the primary 4 factions, it would really be kind of a fill in the blank for the heroes that you don't have. So again, when you look at a lot of different game modes, there's going to be a point where you need specific heroes that are specifically dealing damage in formations. You're going to have to sub them in. And when it comes to multiple game modes, I don't feel like you're going to have enough heroes. So again, when you think of just having those 4 primary factions, when you start getting into, the 5 teams, the 6 teams, the 7 teams, you're probably not going to have enough heroes in there effective to be able to focus on those 4 primary factions without filling in Celestials, Hypogeans, and Dimensionals just because of the sheer heroes. That's going to be kind of the part I think you're going to run out of heroes within there. Rigby and the Temple Rift. Yes. Rigby in the Temple Rift is a nightmare. If you don't have anyone to negate the healing effect that he has, it's over. It's literally game over if you don't have it. What is going on, Will? Good morning to you. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, you'd probably run into not having enough heroes. Oh, you're welcome, Ken. Yeah, congratulations on the membership. Like I said, we like doing it every single time we do the live stream. We do the gifting of the memberships. And it's almost to the point, guys, that the King's Tower, look at this, level 15. We could probably go through here and go through a ton of this. Shia actually does well in the front line as well. But we could go through here and clean out, and I will go through here and just crush a ton of these floors, looking to get diamonds out of here, but also looking to get the rare stones and the elite stones to make some more progression on there. And look at that, Raul, thank you for subbing to the channel, guys. But that will do it for today's live stream. Again, I'm going to run through here. I'm going to see exactly how far we can get through here. I want to focus on this a little bit. I want to see how effective this wish list is once we get to the point of being able to make more summons. But I'm going to save everything, see if we can do some quick videos on this with some summons, make some progression, give some updates for this like we have in the past with some of the accounts so we can go ahead and see the effectiveness of this wish list. Trishea is just killing everyone, which is kind of crazy. Yes, early game, absolutely Dark Lucifer is very, very slow. Just like you see here, it is pretty slow. If you wanted easy mode, Damon with Ivan, easy. If you get the chance, if you get the luck, if you get the luck of pulling an Awakened Hero, early game, an Awakened Hero will carry a ton. We see it happen all the time, guys. The Awakened Heroes will carry for a considerable amount of AFK Arena. Also, depending who you get. So for most players, they'll go through here, and when they pull a hero, it'll actually be, unfortunately, most of the time, it'll be the Awakened version of Aziz, which we seem to always pull for some reason. Let's finish it out with the summons in here, though. We got 10 right here. It is just another rare. We do have, I'm going to use these all. I'm going to use all the summons in here. One more elite, guys, which is Skarath. Skarath, of course, is in the wish list. Got to get his furniture in there if we're going to keep doing the 5 pull. We have, what, 7 more scrolls. 1 on the table. Let's go Greyborn. Let's see what we do, Greyborn. It is Thorin. So again, another one. We're not really getting anyone on our wish list, which is kind of silly. Kren we didn't get. Thorin we didn't have on there. Let's see if we can get one more in here before we call it a night. Maybe one elite. Can we get a Celestial or a Hypogean? Who's the first one going to be? That's going to be another question. And our final summon in here, which we know we're closer. It is just a rare card. That is all right. We got another one with Moriel. Acquire 100 heroes, guys. Literally, we acquired 100 heroes in an hour, which is crazy. We got to make one friend. Wonder if we made anyone on the friends list. So no one yet, guys. We applied to a bunch of people. But we have to make one friend on there, and then we'll actually get this very first one. So we'll get a couple of resources out of there. But looking at the soldier supplies, they give us Shamira, guys, even though Shamira is super, super outdated. Lyrical Expiration, look at this. 3,000. We cleared this out in here, so we got some gems. That is going to give us some pretty good stones. There's some Labyrinth tokens out of there. Even got some Chest of Wishes. We'll be able to finish this thing out, guys, which is kind of crazy to think. Again, a brand new account in the Lost Spires here. Guys, we got the Lost Spire. You can't do that. Only female characters. Only female characters on the account. So here is the Lost Spire, guys. Look at this. We can summon 3 of these already. 15 and 600. Look at the heroes. Wow, we can go through the Lost Spire. I'm going to have to see if we can do this, guys. Getting these rewards. And again, I really think, and I'm thinking, again, as a brand new player coming into AFK Arena, you're getting inundated with stuff. You are getting inundated with so much stuff in AFK Arena. Even we got the Poke Coins, we got the Faction Scrolls. I'm going to save the Chest of Wishes. I'm going to save these to see what we can actually get out of here to make some more progression. Rare heroes getting a lot more. Got some elites in there. That's crazy. That's crazy how many we got in here. All right, guys, I'm getting kind of caught up in again. But again, guys, 4-32, we're going to make some more progression in here. Want to level up a couple more. We'll get some more heroes. It's kind of crazy. Even the Shadow Evasion, I know this does give you a considerable amount of resources in that game mode as well. Go through the Labyrinth. We can clear that out, which we'll do a little bit later. Peaks of Time, we already have some of these probably unlocked at this point. Historic Adventures, you can see going through here. Don't show this again for the Peaks of Time, but this is up for all of those game modes. Again, lot of stuff as a new player. All right, guys. So again, that'll do it for tonight. Thank you guys for joining me for the very late stream, guys. It was really, really cool. Thank you for all the support, guys. We have a lot of new subscribers and a lot of new members to the channel, which was very, very cool to see. Have a good night, guys. We got a lot more content that is coming up actually on the 5th anniversary, which is going to be crazy next year. Also, a lot of stuff changing in Q4 of this year. So again, that'll do it for the stream. Have a good night, guys. And as always, thank you guys for watching.